Man, I've been trying to make this video for like fucking 2 days now. Like, I had a live stream legit. This is the video I wanted to make in a live stream. This is what I wanted to put out there. But you know what? Fuck it. We're going to do it this way. I don't fucking care. Right. So, all right. Let's talk about this. Because it's important that we have this conversation about what's going on with the rest of the world and the coronavirus and currencies and hyperinflation that's popping off in other countries, because they're not talking about it, because they don't want to talk about it, because they want to keep spending fucking money. So, Lebanon becomes first country in Middle East and North Africa to enter hyperinflation. Lebanon could face its biggest crisis since the civil war. Economics are warning the country's currency hits new lows. Lebanon is now the first country in the Middle East and North Africa to see its inflation rate exceed 50% for 30 consecutive days, according to Steve H. Hank, a professor of applied economics at Johns Hopkins University. The sharp rise in prices for goods and services pushes the country further into crisis. High inflation means many goods have become unaffordable. We started receiving messages from educated people emailing us just for help, said Sober Zayer, executive manager at the Lebanese Food Bank. She added, there is no middle class anymore. The Lebanese rely heavily on imports, which constitute 60% of consumed goods, according to Lebanese economist Roy Badero. Because of the very high correlation between importation and consumption, the spike in the exchange rate to the dollar then translates into massive increase in retail prices. Clothing and footwear items alone have seen a 345% annual rise in prices. According to Credit Libania's latest report, in addition, the lockdown measures taken to tackle the coronavirus pandemic, resulting in the shutdowns of small businesses and massive layoffs, have pushed the country to the brink. COVID-19 is a multiplier effect, said Badero. According to Zader, more than half of the Lebanese population is living under the poverty line as a result. The World Bank estimates that 155,000 households are living under extreme poverty line. If you compare the situation before and after not only COVID, but even before the revolution started in October 2019, now people are depending on NGOs because the government doesn't have any plans for these people, she said. While the Lebanese authorities have pledged financial aid to the poorest 43,000 families, there are worries that it didn't reach the right people. The list of data for the families was so old, some of them were already dead or not living in Lebanon anymore, said Zader. The nonprofit organization Embrace, which has a national suicide prevention helpline, said suicide reports have doubled in the country this year, jumping from an average of 200 calls per month last year to between 400 and 500 per month in 2020. On a visit to Lebanon on July 23rd, French Foreign Minister Jean-Yves Le Drian was blunt in his critique of the country's leadership, saying, "Help us to help you." As talks with the International Monetary Fund have hit a stalemate, the Lebanese are left to rely on their diaspora for an influx of money. Venezuela has oil. Our oil is the diaspora, said Badero. Rabah's cousin, who lives overseas, used to send money home to his family, but a lot of businesses shut down due to COVID, and my cousin has not been paid for at least 5 months. Now we have to send him money, Rabah said. The only way out of this crisis for many Lebanese is through reform. According to Makan Rabah, a history lecturer at the American University of Beirut, the core problem is that no one has any trust in the political system. The central bank has dug itself so deep, bailing out the country, it's incapable of doing anything. This was the central bank's original sin, added Badero, referring to the decision in 1997 to fix the rate of the Lebanese pound. The country's weakened position means it's at a crossroads. We're in the middle of a reality check about funding growth and our economy and food even, said Badero. All right, so Lebanon has entered hyperinflation. That story is actually about 2 weeks or 3 weeks old. I have not had a chance to cover it yet. I've been super fucking busy with work and family and my kids and fucking just all the shit that goes with like life in general. But I wanted to make sure y'all knew what was going on across the world. There's also some other shit going on that I think we need to pay attention to, because you have to understand the United States is alone in its ability to print money. All right. And even then, the United States is seeing exponential fucking inflation. And it's important to understand that, like, this idea of modern monetary theory doesn't really work in practice. Like, it doesn't actually work the way they want it to work. Because they think that they can stand here and print money into the abyss and it never touches the American citizens' hands. But the truth is that that's just not the fucking case. And I mean, as we're about to fucking see, like, what's really going on. All right, so This article here, Turkish lira in freefall, what triggered the sharp decline? While dollar lira parity was just 1.31 in 2008 and 2.83 in 2016, it reached 7.31 on Friday morning, passing beyond the psychological threshold. According to expert, Turkey has already run out of ammunition for defending the lira. Right, hang on a second. Let me stand here and try to I don't know what the fuck is going on with this bullshit. Like, it needs to fucking disappear. I don't know why the fuck Bill Maher is up on the goddamn screen right now talking. On Thursday, 2 years after the historic currency crisis of August 2018, the Turkish lira hit a new record low against the US dollar and the euro, despite months-long failed interventions in state banks and Turkey's central bank to prop up the currency and keep it pegged. While dollar lira parity is just 1.31 and 2.83 in 2016, has now reached 7.31 on Friday morning, passing beyond the psychological threshold. The CBRT announced it is set to use all available instruments to reduce the excessive volatility in the markets. Well, they had a meeting today and they decided that they're not going to raise interest rates, which is the only way that you can strengthen up your currency. But the truth is, the reason why this is really actually happening is because the people are buying gold and silver, right? The people are saying, fuck this, we're not going to trade in your currency because your currency's fucking garbage, right? Like, you continue to fucking stand here and, try to print our way out of this fucking recession that you caused because you shut the fucking country down because of this fucking nonsensical fucking disease that isn't fucking real. And it's a real disease, but it's not fucking like some shit that we should be standing here like all fucking losing our fucking minds over and throwing away our entire goddamn economies. Last month, the CBRT overtook Russia as the world's largest purchaser of gold. Turkey's annual inflation reached about 12%, according to official figures. Eric Yeldon, an economic professor at Ankara Bilkent University, said that financial investors were leaving the Turkish markets after seeing what the CBRT's reserves reportedly went negative for a couple of weeks. Now they believe that the king is naked, he told Arab News, adding that the sharp currency fluctuations might have already benefited some rent-seeking pro-government companies in saving dollars and paying their debts. For Yeldon, however, such a fixed-rate system is like a ship without a rudder, simply unstable. The reconversion of the Hagia Sophia Museum into a mosque, despite international warning, the newly adopted restrictions on social media law have all been political operations to divert attention from the economic challenges of the country, he said. Regarding macro fundamentals, Nikolay Markov, senior economist at Pictet Asset Management, thinks that Turkey is highly vulnerable, giving it strong reliance on foreign capital flows to finance its chronic current account deficit. Within the emergency markets space, it's currently the country most at risk after Argentina, he told Arab News. According to Markov, the recently renewed depreciation of the lira reflects investors' growing concerns about a likely balance of payment crisis. The lack of appropriate economic policies measures and lately somewhat higher geopolitical risks. So here's the deal. With the United States leaving, you know what I'm saying, like the in general region where Turkey fucking lives and inhabits, right? Because of the fact that, like, I know you're all going to stand here and go, oh man, all these individuals have been taking hits over the past couple of months, or whatever the case might be. Look, with our ability to frack, you know what I'm saying, and no longer having to deal with motherfucking Saudi Arabian oil or any of that type of bullshit, legit, we don't have any reason to stay in that area at all. Like, even to defend Israel at this fucking point. Like, legit, it's just not politically viable. There's no reason for us to do it. The American people don't want to fucking do it. Nobody wants to actually do it. And with that being said, they legit, Turkey's going to end up becoming a regional power again, right? Because that's where they started at. That's who they were to begin with, was a regional fucking power. And since, the American order came through, Turkey originally, kind of held the keys to, a fucking kingdom. And they're going to do that again. They're going to end up managing the motherfucking Mediterranean and the Middle East. And they're going to become the regional superpower. And they're going to expand. And America's not going to stop them. You know what I mean? So, with that being said, it is what it is. I'm not stressing about Turkey too much. Like, they can go into hyperinflation, and I think they can shake it the fuck off. Because basically what they'll do is they'll just, start a fucking war. Just start rampaging across Greece and, You know, I mean, whoever the fuck else they want to take over, because they don't fucking care and they can do it. They have the ability, and Syria and their spare manpower, they'll just offload their fucking inflation. And I mean, they'll go through and they'll snatch up other people's lands and fucking all the wealth over there, and they'll fucking bring it home. It'll be what it is. But I wanted y'all to see what the hell's going on. Believe me, people are paying the price for all this fucking money printing. You know what I mean? So, it is what it is. I'm gonna holla at y'all later. You know the deal. Peace be like one.